Now, if you own real estate anywhere in the state of Florida, you may have received something in the mail this week that was your trim notice, TRIM. And what this trim notice does is it is going to give you the appraised value from the county, and then it'll talk through some of the exemptions that you have, etc. But it's an extremely important document, so don't discard it, and we're going to go through some of the things that you should watch out for. So first and foremost, in this document, we get this every single year. This is from the county on every single property that you own, whether that's commercial, your primary residence, investment property, etc. Now, in here, we will see a few things. So they've got important numbers for us to call right here as we open up. It actually always comes as 2 pages, and then there's this lovely little letter from the actual Lee County property appraiser. This is Lee County. Collier County, same thing, it would be from the Collier County appraiser. Then they're going to talk about how the taxes work. Now, here's what's important, and we've talked about this in some of my other videos, is that if a property is homesteaded, if you homestead it, meaning it's your primary residence and you choose to homestead that property in Florida, there are certain limitations to what they can do called Save Our Homes benefit. So they can only assess it by 2.9% more than what they did the previous year, even if the market value has changed substantially. We'll go through this particular example and we'll talk through that. Now, if it's not your primary residence, that can go up by as much as 10% per year if they are looking to get that value back in terms of getting closer to the recapture of the property value. So in this particular property, let's talk about it. So number one, it says last year they had the value of this property at $433,157. This year they have the value of $401,186. So they're saying that the value decreased by $32,000 compared to last year. Market definitely softened over that time. That's reasonable. I could see that. And then under that, you're going to have your assessment reductions. So if you have any exemptions, if you have any assessment reductions, that's where that would show up. So if you're missing a homestead exemption, or you're missing a widow exemption, or something else that you believe that is due to you, you want to make sure that you look at this document carefully, make sure that you're getting what you deserve, and if you don't, you need to be in touch with the county to make sure that that happens. Now, below that, it goes into where all of that money is going. So the general revenue, Lee County general revenue, the school district is getting a large portion of the money as well. The municipality, so unincorporated MSTU, which is like sewer district, I believe, and then water management district, independent special districts, so fire department, mosquito control, all of those types of things, and you can see the associated millage rate with that. There's a few columns that are here, however. So it shows our assessed value of last year, and then it shows us the assessed value this year. Then it talks through the exemptions, and then it gives you a taxable value. So what I mean by that, on this particular property, we know, because we just talked about it, last year's $433,000 is what they had it appraised at. This year's $401,000. In previous years, it was significantly lower than that. So last year, this was at $300,130 was the assessed value of the property. Because remember, they couldn't go up by more than 10% per year. And so the property was only being taxed at $300,000, even though they're saying it was worth $433,000. So this year, being that it's worth $401,000, they can only go up by 10%. This is an investment property. This is not a property that's my primary residence, something like that. So they are going up by the full 10% to recapture that back, and now they're going to assess me at $330,143, getting closer to that $401,000 that's their actual appraised value. So hopefully you followed me through there, but that's generally how those things work. And then you'll see actually on the back of this, you'll see column 1, column 2, and column 3, and they're saying your property taxes last year and last year's millage rate. Then it'll give you column 2 is your tax rate this year if no budget change is adopted. And then column 3 will say this year's proposed tax millage rate if the budget change is adopted. So if we look at this particular property, last year was $4,800 in real estate taxes. This year, if there's no budget change, it's saying that would be $4,755. So the millage rate came down just a little bit. And if there is the proposed change, it would go up to $4,866. So about $100 difference to the taxes if the budget change is adopted. So here is the thing. You've got to look at these values carefully. If you don't agree with what the county says the appraised value of the property is, you have certain rights that you need to take advantage of. You can file a petition with the Value Adjustment Board, or you can request an informal conference with the county, with the property appraiser's office, or you can actually file suit against the county. Now I'm going to bring you into kind of my dilemma, this situation that I'm in, and I've been in real estate for 19 and a half years at this stage, and I've never seen something crazier than what I am personally going through, in my own deal. So this year I sold my primary residence and moved to a new primary residence. So I'm taking my homestead and I'm moving it to a separate homestead, if you will. In the process, last year, they had valued my previous home at a certain rate, right? So at a certain rate, and they dropped that this year by about almost $300,000 compared to the value last year, which was significant. I mean, that's much more than what the overall market did, and there's no justifiable explanation to that given the comparables, etc. Well, couple that with the fact that I just sold it to a buyer that paid nearly what the appraised value was last year. So for them to say that it was $300,000 less just doesn't make any sense. And at the same time, the county went and they increased the home that I bought by $400,000. So they're saying that one went down by $300,000, this one went up by $400,000, and that's going to have a significant impact on my portability as far as the Save Our Homes exemption, bringing that over to the new home. So you better bet that I'm going to fight the county on this because it's just unreasonable, it doesn't make any sense, and quite frankly, I think that it was a giant mistake. And so they're going to make life a little bit challenging because I no longer own that previous property. But again, what's right is right, and what's going on here clearly seems like a catastrophic mistake from the county. But I'll keep you posted because it's an interesting story. It's a developing story. And by the way, you have 25 days from the time that those trim notices went out to file your petition or ask for that informal conference. So your time to dispute this is extraordinarily limited, and you need to make that happen if you do not agree with the value that they've given. So in some circumstances, they've gone too high. Some circumstances, they've gone too low. And again, this is something that you can dispute. I have done this successfully in the past, and I plan to do that again this year because they're just out of whack. It's just not correct. So let me know your thoughts below. Is that helpful information as far as the trim notice? And let me know what you think as far as their value compared to your perception of your value. As always, me and my team are here to help. Any real estate related questions, we would be honored to be able to serve you, and make it a blessed day. Thank you.